Friends, good afternoon. We also have news that the XRP TF has been the most successful product launch to yet, according to Techrum's CEO. Today, we'll talk about that as well as the technical analysis of the XRP chart and potential future developments. Overview of the cryptocurrency market. The cryptocurrency market is exhibiting strong signs of resurgence. We may observe that Bitcoin has recovered lost territory following the most recent drop. It is now pushing towards $90,000 after rising back above $82,000 from where it had fallen. Update for XRP. XRP has maintained above $2 and is still ranked 4th by market capitalization. It is currently trading at $2.16 and has increased by 8% in the past day, which is a strong indication that all other coins are rising in tandem with Bitcoin. But keep in mind that other coins tend to collapse even more precipitously when Bitcoin does. The market simply operates that way. In terms of market attitude, a period of neutrality is gradually approaching. We have not yet reached euphoria. The majority of onlookers and investors continue to view this as a correction. People will start making aggressive purchases as soon as elation sets in, and the market typically cools down at that point. Therefore, I think the market will keep expanding for some time to come. Analysis of the XRP chart. Regretfully, XRP continues to trade below both the 50-day moving average and the trend line. XRP has a decent possibility of pushing towards $3 and starting to rise again if it can break above both. In the upcoming days, I anticipate a decision point. We'll have a better idea of what comes next based on how the chart evolves. The trend line has been touched by XRP as of right now, and I believe the rally may continue today. Therefore, it doesn't appear that the migration is over. We're making good progress. The candle closes on the weekly time frame on Monday at 3 a.m. Moscow Standard Time. It would be highly suggestive of more upward movement if we close above the $2.20 barrier. The recent 52% decline in XRP is typical of a bull market correction. In 2020, Bitcoin made a similar move. This is therefore not rare. SEC settlement and interview with the CEO of Ripple. I wrote on my Telegram earlier this morning about the interview that Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse had with Fox Business. He disclosed that negotiations to settle the Ripple v. SEC case are still in progress. It's an intriguing development that Ripple might have to pay a $50 million fine in XRP rather than USD. We have established a consensus with the staff. Typically, after reaching a consensus, the staff submits recommendations to the commission, which is followed by a vote. We are therefore certain that we have reached a consensus with the personnel whenever we make announcements regarding that. To date, the commission has not cast a vote. However, we have decided to ignore it and go forward. The SEC had placed a possible $125 million fine in escrow, and we are actually receiving it. In fact, we're reclaiming the majority of it, including the interest accrued during the process. Additionally, I believe it is simply proof that Gensler SEC, the former, was breaking the law. And I believe we're witnessing a far... The SEC will receive $50 million in the end. The United States government will receive $50 million. We've even discussed releasing that in XRP. After all, though, this is a significant advancement. I believe that if you take a closer look at this, the Trump administration is definitely fulfilling its promises. Scott Bessent, David Sachs, spearheading the White House effort, and Paul Atkins, who I believe was confirmed yesterday. These individuals are concerned with ways to ensure that, with reasonable regulation and common sense, this industry may flourish domestically. And we haven't got that for the past 4 years. What kind of common sense regulation would you like to see? Did you speak with David Sachs? What have you said too? At the very least, David, this should be the main focus. Legislation pertaining to stablecoins and what is commonly referred to as market structure law are the two initiatives with the greatest traction on Capitol Hill. Because we are still unsure of when banks are involved, not involved, and what form of licensing is appropriate, we need stablecoin laws. We believe that the New York Department of Financial Services New York Trust license, which Ripple just obtained to launch our stablecoin, is the gold standard for market regulation. However, it is crucial to have federal regulation that gives big entities like USDC Circle and Tether certainty. I believe that will happen sooner rather than later. As you are aware, President Trump has taken significant pro-crypto actions. It must be fantastic for someone like you. But the price of, let's say, Bitcoin, which peaked at almost... Because they may pay fewer tokens for the same dollar amount, Ripple gains from a higher price for XRP. According to Garlinghouse, the US government and the SEC will each continue to get $50 million. Ripple, however, is negotiating to pay the sum in XRP. Therefore, Ripple has an incentive to keep XRP as expensive as possible prior to the settlement. Fewer tokens are required to pay the fine if XRP is pricey. A clever tactic. XRP comparison of real estate. Let's discuss metrics. In 2016, 48 million XRP would have been required to purchase a $300,000 home. In 2020, 1.5 million XRP was needed for a $328,000 home. In 2024, 800,000 XRP is now required to purchase a home worth $434,000. Thus, as time goes on, less XRP is required to purchase the same type of asset, demonstrating the token's growth. Bitcoin is no different. It cost 660 BTC to purchase a home in 2016, 45 BTC in 2020, 6 BTC in 2024. That trajectory is obvious. Derivatives and liquidations. 122,000 traders were impacted by the recent liquidation of $250 million worth of trader holdings. One another reminder of the market's volatility. Trading in futures is not forgiving. Although quantities of derivatives have somewhat decreased, interest in XRP has grown, so things are looking up. Success of XRP TF, the XRP ETF launch, according to Equium's CEO, was the company's most successful to yet. Technological signs. The MVCD for In November, there was a comparable setup that was followed by a 486% rise. The distinction is that XRP was at the bottom of its range at the time. It's close to the top now, so we'll have to wait and see. However, given that Ripple wants a higher price for XRP in order to pay the fine and end the SAC case, I do anticipate more increase. Testing XRPL on the Hidden Road. The good news is that Hidden Road is presently testing the XRP ledger XRPL. Recall that Ripple's acquisition of this brokerage firm is an indication of their strategic direction. Weekly recap. I covered what transpired with XRP and Ripple in a weekly review that I shared in Russian on my Telegram channel. You are already aware of the major developments if you follow my daily content. Current market direction. A period of market recovery has begun. How far this recovery will go is the key question. And is this a fake out or perhaps a real recovery? We will soon find out. On a daily basis, however, the market is currently heading upward. Recently,